All right. Who is Big Poe? Part 6. See if we can finalize this thing right here and then go on to what's going on now. Okay, so manager turned down deals, and there was other opportunities that I'll touch on when I get into the Bopper story and stuff like that. Manager turned down deals, lost the actual source battle. So now it's just a period of like, dude, this is sickening. And then just totally burnt out from the street life. I mean, it's at a point where I had actually stopped hustling for a couple months, just waiting like for that bonus money to come through. You know what I mean? That signing bonus money, just for things to go in the right direction, man. I was trying to stay out of trouble the best I could. I had stopped hustling for a minute. And it's like, yo, come on, come on. You know what I'm saying? So my deal being turned down is like, so nothing's going right. Next thing I know, I'm just tired of it all, man. I think I remember, of course, going in the studio and recording, doing some more recordings. This is on my own. This is where the independency really started to get into me. Like, dude, you know what? When you're going to do stuff, you got to just do it on your own, man. You got to just take control of your own situation and go. And that is where Deuces Wild, the Bop and Poe era really, 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 really picked up. It was like, you know what? I'm snatching my mans back up. He never had to be snatched. He was riding with me all the time. After I broke through the door, he was going to be on next. I'm like, all right, you know what? The boy didn't feel Bop that time. But you know what? There's other things we could do. Come on, me and Bop, I'm going to do this thing. Deuces Wild, me and my mans, and we coming, period. You know what I'm saying? This is how we doing it. Mine is made up. This is where we going with it. We going hard. So then it was this song that was made that people heard a lot of buzz about. And I'm going to get in the Bop on a separate story, but it was a song, Am I My Brother's Keeper? Blazer, I'm gonna have to play it on here for y'all one day. Blazing song. And that thing just went crazy. That was it. It was like a mixtape we put out. The Deuces Wild back then. After seeing other people, you know, of course, like how Major Figures did their own thing with their own mixtapes and just moving. It's like, yo, we put the joint out. Did a recorded like 8 joints, I believe. And that joint just started going crazy through Southwest. And that was making its ways around. But that Brothers Keeper joint, the whole joint was Blaze. But Brothers Keeper, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Will I make these words reach ya? Yes, I can. I'm the keeper of my brother, or I'm less of a man. Make a weeper of my mother, but it's just the way I am. I'm going to play that joint for y'all one day. But that was sick. So, you know, we went that route. But still remember, still in the midst of the street ties that we had going on and just all the heightened nonsense and negativity from the street, just being burnt out from that. It's like, here we are. Now we pushing independently. Here's another push. You know what I mean? Deuces Wild. Oh, and at this time it was like, yo, Stevie G had came to me with another situation. He came, I never remember, like I just fell back. And I think he felt that, you know what I mean? I just fell back, stopped going up there. Not that I ever really went up there a lot anyway, but I just really, really fell back, man. And wasn't going up 56th Street and all that. Just was just living, just like, yo, I'm hustling, or just me and Bop focused on a lot of things. And I remember when he came by, like, yo, stop by my crib. It's a situation, yo, like a Mary J thinking of doing a label, some type of situation. And I just was like, yo, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? He respected. I just told him, you know, man to man, eye to eye, like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I was done, bro. It was like, dude, nah, man. You know what I mean? How I felt back then was, nah. I should have been being prioritized. I just felt like, yo, I was too good to not be, you know, in my eyes, prioritized. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on, but it was just like, I just stopped feeling it. So no bad blood, just as a man. At that time, of course, I was a little salty, but I just like, nah, not interested. You know what I mean? And he was like, all right, whatever. And from that day on, this was nothing else. It was like, you kind of just got to understand, like, dude, I'm done, man. I'm doing my own thing. So, and some people was like, yo, why you ain't want to hook up with Steve, you know, do the joint? Like, nah, man, I'm done. Like, yo, you turned down a situation they had going on, you know, I'm done, bro. Once I'm done with something, I'm done. It was in my mind. I made up my mind. I'm taking control of my own thing. Me and Bop, independent style. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. So we made some noise and headway with that, with the Deuces Wild work, which was incredible. And I'll get into that more in a different story. But from there, let's just get into me just being tired of the street game. And it was just like, man, I'll never forget the last draw was kind of like, yo, I ended up in a situation with guns to my head, you know what I'm saying? In a dark alley all by myself. It's not rap related, it's a street related situation, but it's like, I had, I was trying to chill, but I had, the block still popping. I had a couple of young boys out on the block or whatever, but this particular day, nobody was on the block. Boy was lunching, so I'm like, yo, man, the money is coming through here. You ain't gonna be out here. I'm going out, you know what I'm saying? So I go out holding it down, and then later that night, I'm out there by myself. I don't know where the cats was from, but it was a bad robbery situation, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, yo, I remember just like the boys scarfed up, just like, yo, blow his brains out. And I remember just picturing my mom, man, finding me dead, It wasn't really about my life at that time when I, thought I was going to be die, you know what I'm saying? But I remember like, it was a hell of a situation, but I just remember just like visualizing my mom finding her son, man, what it would did to her, man. Finding me dead, man, in a dark alley, her getting the news of me being killed, in a dark alley, brains blown out, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what? This stuff sucks, Of course, the niggas rob, they bounce or whatever, but like, of course you come back out, you got the gun, so now you dealing with that paranoia, you ready to rock somebody. Now, of course, I went home and got the gun, so I should have had the gun on me anyway. I'm out there by myself, like a late night. That's just what we do, you know what I mean? Grinding. Cats happened to ride by the avenue, must have spotted me, circled the block. They was like 4 or 5 deep in like a wagon. And I mapped it out. I told the boy what was going on before they even robbed me. I'm like, yo, but I ain't have a gun with me at the particular time. So I was lacking at that moment, you know what I'm saying? I told him what was going on, you know what I mean? Boy was like, all right, well, you already know that. And just pulled out the burner. Then the other boys turned around the burner. Ended up with like 3 guns to my head, man. Boy cocking a gun, and you know what I mean? The other boy encouraging him to blow my brains out, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't happy with what they got, but that's real situations. And, there's a lot of people who don't come back from those situations, that don't keep their cool in those situations and get shot, or sometimes just get shot for GP because a young boy or somebody want to impress the old head. So they just blow your brains out to show the old head that they're a gangster. You know what I'm saying? But that situation, and then that wasn't the last, because I still kept playing around in the streets. And now I'm back in the streets again, rapping with Bop, back in the streets. We don't give a fuck now. We just going hard. So, but it wasn't that situation. The situation it was after that, getting locked up on my birthday. Mind you, I done already beat so many cases, and it was like, here we go, and not another case. You know what I'm saying? It was like, got locked up on my birthday. Some undies happened to see me in the stash in the alley. They happened to be locking up somebody from the other block. So, but by me being in the alleyway, they coming in the alleyway to look for somebody else's stash on the block that's across from me. And they see me because, there's blocks and then there's an alleyway, which you share. So they see me, just happen to see me at the same time I'm going to go bust a cell. Boom, you know what I mean? Lock me up, because now we just doing our thing. It was just wow, man. It was wow. I remember saying like, God, please, like, just let me get out of this. I'm done. I'm done with the streets. I'm done with the drug. I'm done with everything. I'm just, you know what I mean, man? God said, you going down. So I went down for that. Ended up beating that case. Thank God, you know what I mean? But just done now. Now totally done with the street game. Done with Big Poe. Done with that whole lifestyle, you know what I mean? Done with all of it, man. And I just totally stopped rapping for 4 years. Here's when I just started really getting my life right with God. Just like, I started getting my life right with the Lord. Remembering I was the son of a pastor, until I was about age 7 or 9. About age 7 or 9, you know what I'm saying? Then him and my mom went divorced. And then I was left to the people on the streets to be like my father figure. And Pop wasn't really in the picture too much. You know what I mean? It was a period where I went to live with him for 1 year in South Philly. That's where I got a lot of my love for South Philly at. But going to Barrett Middle School and all that wild stuff. Rest in peace, Ernest, and Crazy John. All that was going on. But anyway, 4 years, I'm just like, man, God, like, yo, show me what to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with this. I done did so much by age of, I think I was 22. By the age of 22, man, I had done so much. It was like, been through so much. It was like, I was done with it, man. I was done with it all, bro. So as I began to get my life right with the Lord, left the game alone, got my first legal job. It kind of fell on my lap. You know what I mean? Telemarketing, John. but just getting a chance to make my first legal paper. But the thing is, when you grind on the street, you're going to grind wherever you go. So at that particular job, there was a lot of overtime available if you would do it. So I was doing like 14 hours, 15 hours every day. Next thing you know, I'm just seeing like big checks, you know what I mean? Because my grind was still on 100, man. We would grind on the street 24 hours. You know what I mean? So my grind was still in the thousands. So I'm just like, wow, I never had a chance to see what it felt like to make some legal bread and not having to watch my back and all this and all that. It was like, wow, this is what it's about, man. Like, wow. A lot of stress fell off of me. That's where at my first job where I met my, who's now my wife, you know what I'm saying? Met my queen. Man, we've been married now 13 years. We just celebrated 13 years of marriage. We've been together 20 years. You know what I mean? So I met my queen. Bop was still on the block for a little bit longer, but of course I influenced him. Like I said, Bop's like a little brother, so I influenced him. Then Bop started working at the same job. So that was wild. That was a shit show. You know what I mean? Me and Bop the same job. Crazy. That was a crazy situation. But anyway, I was done, man. I just started really start reading the word, man. I kind of, you know, the word says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he get older, he won't depart from it. So I started going back to reading that word, man. And then I'll never forget the book that really spoke to me a lot was the wisdom that was in the book of Proverbs. You know what I mean? So that did a lot. And before you know it, I was going to church on Sundays, Wednesdays, man, just living a total life. People thought I was Slip the Mickey because I was done, how done I was, because people knew that the buzz was still going on the street. And at this time, I remember hearing about E-Ness battling. People wanted me to come back and just battle E-Ness, but I was already removed from the rap. I was removed from it all, man, mentally. But I heard he had beat my young boy, who's nice, my young boy Twiz. Shout out to Twiz, Twine, and he had beat Twine in the battle. I think it was in Bartramville, or matter of fact, or it might have been in Trendsetters, which is a bar that we originally put on the map. I'll get into that in another story. You know what I mean? Well, you know, can I touch on that now? All right, I'll touch on it real quick now. But anyway, I was hearing about E-Ness at the time. Never heard him, but I was hearing about him, you know, from Southwest Philly. But E-Ness, I guess he must have just got out of jail or whatever. So he was emerging right as I was done. You know what I'm talking about? So, and I got love for E-Ness. I like what he do going to represent in New York. I liked a couple of his mixtapes. You know what I'm talking about? When I was working, a couple people let me hear his stuff, and I liked it. It was one joint where he said, I'm an animal with fangs and claws. It was like one of his original, early mixtapes. And I liked that song, My Hood, mother nigga, what's good? Was going like, yeah, Southwest Philly, stand up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so yeah, so I'm done with rapping, getting right with the Lord. I'm gonna cover the Trendsetters joint with me and Bop. I'm gonna save that story, but I'm done. I'm gonna do that in part in Meet and Bopper, the Meet and Bopper segment. When I do the Meet and Bopper story, I'll cover a lot of those things. But anyway, done getting right with the Lord, done rap, done, you know, so 4 years no rapping at all, because I love rap so much that I wasn't even listening to no rap, because I had to stay totally away from it, because that's how much it would invoke out of me. That's how much I love rap. It's like, you know what, let me just get totally away from it. It's the only way that I could just not get into it. I can't be listening to it, hearing what's hot, what's new coming out, because I know deep down inside, I'm better than, I could blaze a lot of these artists that's coming out. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, it's like, deep down inside, I know my talent level, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just had to get away from it all, you know, and I felt like that was my sacrifice to God at the time. I didn't want to rap about that because I didn't even want to rap about the stuff I seen living it, you know. But like I said, now I'm different. I can differentiate just being a professional rapper from the street life and all that. That's because I'm 20 years separated apart from it. You know what I mean? So changed my life, man. After 4 years of no rapping at all, I believe it was 3 or 4 years, I heard my man Sheen do a gospel rap at Victory at the church I was going to. And I was like, wow. And it was blazing. So, you know, I was influenced. That did something to me. It was like God was saying, like, you know, I could use you in these different ways or whatever. So before you know it, I started recording my gospel raps. And before you know it, Welcome to the Walk Show. My first gospel rap CD I bought out. You know what I mean? I'm touching lives now. People just blazing them, you know. I remember that at that time it was about getting the CDs from and putting the stickers on them, pressing them up yourself. Remember at my Pop house, shout out to Pop, Grandma Bessie. Now they was feeling me. People who wasn't feeling me when I was in that street life and hard headed all those years. Now they like hearing that, like, yo, he changing his life, he getting his life together with the Lord. They want to like give a helping hand. So now I'm at his crib. I'm burning all these doggone CDRs, the computer CDs back in the day, putting stickers on them. That was my first project, Walking the Walk. And that was crazy. I gave my story on how, God changed my life through all the stuff I've been through. Deep stories, what I'm talking about. Then Victorious, then Down to Earth, which is my best gospel rap CD, classic. That by the time I got to Victorious, my next one, I was getting stuff pressed up professionally from Discmaker, press up a couple thousand, Down to Earth, press up a couple thousand. Basically, I was selling thousands of CDs, and these gospel CDs weren't just like cornball selling gospel. It was like, yo, you hear somebody who really could rap, and they really telling you real life stories on what to watch out for. So that's where, which really signified me and the gospel. You know what I mean? Under the name Mark Cornelius, which is my first and middle name. So that was for that. You know what I mean? And that was like amazing experiences I'll never take back. But I learned independency. So when I started doing gospel, you notice everything was off the ground on my own. It was all independent movement. You know what I'm talking about? Selling CDs on the street, in front of Walmarts, everywhere I can. And the buzz just flooding all like that through the gospel game. To the point all the way to where the rap skills brought me. I had sent the tape in and it won a submission to a big conference that was going on down in Atlanta, Georgia, amongst the likes of Kirk Franklin and Donnie McClurkin and Ty Tripp. It was like a lot going on down there. I was selected to be one of the artists to come down there to a showcase because I sent them a tape. It was this song I had called Could Have Been You, Could Have Been Yours. Sent them the VHS. Talk about a VCR tape back then. VHS, labeled it, made it look real professional, sent it in, and they was feeling it. You know what I mean? So when it come to rap, I could go into a lot of depths. Like I said, the one thing that's been consistent, the most consistent in my life, other than my mother, and my mother basically has been, rap music has always been around. God and my mother has been, rap music has always been around in my life. You know what I mean? From like day one, age 6 or 7. Like age 8, 9, just it's been around. So did 6 of those projects, man. Did a joint called for Saint Glory, my man's. The Saint Glory, the Work Hard mixtape, did that. I did like 6 projects or whatever. And they moved. You know what I mean? Grinded them. For 2 years, I was going hard, no job. Just off of straight up doing shows and grinding CD sales. You know what I mean? So the grind is in me, you know what I'm saying? But I remember recording my last gospel joint. It's called Flawed. And that's a joint that's available on iTunes. Flawed by Mark Cornelius. And I remember recording that joint and just feeling like, I just felt like it could be a retirement album. I never forget it. I never said it to nobody, but it just felt like, as far as on the gospel tip, I was like, man, this joint got everything in it to just be my last, retirement joint. And sure thing, I didn't know that it would be, but it ended up being my last gospel project that I recorded. Flawed. I think it's like 13, 14 joints on it. Had some bangers on it, man. Getting it honest, it's just all that positivity, you know what I'm saying? It was awesome. So now, after what? That was back in like 2016, my last project. No, not 2016. That was like 2012 or 2014 that I did the Flawed project. I have to look it up. I think Flawed was like 2014 or whatever. But just after that period, the shift that has been made has just been my philosophy and my view on things. Yes, I still love God, but now I understand that I don't have to be. I do my witnessing differently. Remember, at that time, I was going to halfway house prisons, witnessing on the street to the corners and the people that I've been polluting, going back and just giving back by witnessing and all the things I could do, giving out turkeys, just anything I could do. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the true churches and true men of God out there. You know what I mean? Shout out to Victory Christian Center. Shout out to Better Way, Pastor Ellison. Shout out to Pastor Brian. some of the real, Pastor Morgan, some of the real pastors I met. A lot of times, one thing about the Christian world, a lot of the people who really mean business, they don't always have the biggest churches and the fanciest stuff. They be the people who's underfunded, not really being funded, but they got a heart of gold. I remember when I was giving out food to the homeless, going down Center City, pulling different pastors together from all different churches, and then we all meet up and, going down to Center City, making a difference. I call it MAD, making a difference. You made me mad. You made me make a difference. Giving out food to the homeless and everything like that. I just begin to realize that there's ways that I could touch people and I could still witness people without actually going out, passing tracks and stuff like that. I think even what I'm doing now is a form of witnessing. You know what I mean? I think like just sometimes people just being regular. You know what I mean? People hearing your regular conversations, I think my life, I'll let my fruit be what shows. You know what I'm saying? I've been married 13 years. I got a good kid. You know what I'm saying? I think I raised my stepkids, helped my wife raise my stepkids. I think your fruit, you can say which one out your mouth, but I think your fruit will do the talking. You know what I mean? It's a scripture that talks about that, where Jesus says something, judge a man by the fruit that he bears or something. I can't remember right now, but I let my fruit do the talking. And my fruit is I'm a peaceful man. You know what I mean? I'm out of the way. You don't hear no negativity here. You might hear some slick punchlines in my raps or nothing like and something like that. Curse words slide out every once in a while. Okay. I'm willing to die with my weakness. I'm willing to die with my imperfections and live with my imperfections and own my imperfections. But as far as being in the negativity, being about helping destroy one another, our own people, nah, you're not going to get that here. As far as hating on another brother, nah, you're not going to get that here with Big Poe. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get raw rap, though. You get in that rap arena, it's on and popping. It's like how you meet a nice boxer, but once it's time to get in that ring, it's like, dude, it's a stone cold look. It's Ice Grill, it's straight. I'm going to bring it to you. Or when it's time for you to hear his music, it's raw. You know, my music is going to be raw, and that's what we doing, baby. It's your boy, Big Poe. And I think if you don't know, now you know, rap related. So now that brings me to this day and age now. I get a chance to bring my hustle and muscle, the things I learned, and now put it behind my raw rap, the street rap. You know what I mean? I get a chance to really give Big Poe his proper light. Nobody could tell your story like you can tell your story. You know what I'm talking about? You've heard all the legend, all the myths, but there's going to be many stories you're going to be told. You know what I mean? And you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. And hey, I don't need nobody to vouch for me, but, go ask about it. I mean, it ain't like I got to sit here and make stuff. Ask around. You know what I'm talking about? Ask around. And I'm not trying to take glory in none of that stuff, but I definitely take glory in being one of the best rappers out of Philadelphia, period. So ask around, man. Ask around. Ask the hot rappers, you know what I mean, about me. Ask your favorite rappers from Philly about me, you know what I mean? That's, my cloth. And of my draft class, especially that came through in the 90s area. Ask about me. We got so much more to carry. This is your boy, Big Poe, getting to know Big Poe. Who is Big Poe? Part 6. So now it's just work. That's why you're getting these freestyles. That's why you're getting all this work. It's coming continually. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Right here, rap related, boy. We about to do this. We about to do some real noise.